Hi everyone, welcome back to the Shelves Have Eyes. I'm Phantom, and tonight we'll be making another Harry Potter Miniverse Potions capsule. You may notice that this is sans wrapper at the moment, and that's because as we get closer and closer to the end of this series, I need to open these balls to make sure I know what I'm making. So without further ado, let's get started. We need our tea bowls. Cauldron. There's the funnel. They like to put that right in the middle of the potion neck of the ball. The silver spoon. Tongs. Pop those out. Got an undefinable silvery powder. Some more of those little stones that we put in the first potion we made with the Potions Classroom set. These appear to be a pinkish color rather than the deep red that we had used previously. Potion stand and another little simmering pot, which will do absolutely nothing for this project. We'll just add it to the assembly of candles that I've acquired over here. Little bag that holds a container top for Amortentia. So now this is everything we need to make Amortentia. Just a few small notes. This package that usually has a gum label on it now just has this fiber cord with this very strange little tassel on it. And also the stand for the cauldron is somewhat gold in color, almost like a burnished bronze, which is different from every other stand we've received, as is this pot of resin. It's shorter and fatter than any of the other cauldrons we've seen, so just a small thing to note. But this looks like everything we need, so let's get started. Looking at the instructions here. Amortentia. So it looks like we put some of the sparkly powder into the cauldron. These are not stones, they appear to be hearts. We'll just see about that. You mix it all about, you decant it into the bottle, cure, and then you put your little tassel on, and you are done. So how about we get this project started then? Once again, as always, we'll be doing all of our mixing in a resin cup so that all you wonderful people can see what we're doing. So let us start by opening the cauldron. All right, that looks like everything that's in this cauldron. And if the last two resin-based sets we've done have taught us anything, Miniverse is now giving us a little too much. So let's see what we can do with that first. First direction is to put some of this, I should say, silvery powder in. Ooh, look at that, it's very iridescent. And let's see what this does to our resin. All right, let's put some of these little jobbies in. These are just little cut out pieces of iridescent plastic, similar to what you would get in like a mixed glitter package. I don't think we're going to need all of them, so I'm just going to put in a little bit. They're not really mixing very well, they're just kind of staying in a stack. Actually, these hearts are really large. I don't know how they're going to go through the funnel. Let's try to pop some of these bubbles and then we'll decant. Really, all I can think of is this looks like some kind of bubble bath from the 80s, like Mr. Bubble, but with like sparkle and glitter edition. It looks like Lisa Frank threw up in this container. Alright, let's see if they'll go through this funnel, shall we? Yeah, see, they're just clumping. They didn't really break up, they just kind of stayed in a stack, so. Wow, these are really difficult to get in to the bottle itself. I feel like, unlike the last two resin-based sets we've done, this one they did not give you enough. There's nothing left in there. Seems like there were some dregs left in there. So I'll just top this off. I'm just going to clean off the lip of the bottle so we can get the stopper in after we finished curing. And we got almost there. I'd say about 80% full. Alright, well, let's cure. Alright, as this cures, how about we move on to lore? Okay, so lore-wise, there is not terribly much that we know about Amortentia. What we do know is that it is the strongest love potion that was ever created in the Harry Potter universe. It is very important to note that the term love potion is kind of a misnomer. Amortentia and other potions like it do not manufacture love. Love is impossible to manufacture. What they do is make an irresistible infatuation, which becomes obsessive, which is why Amortentia is an extremely dangerous potion. And you never get a sense in the series whether it's regulated or not, but you would assume it would have to be. Essentially, in frequent doses, if you were to dose somebody, your paramour, whoever that may be, with Amortentia over too long of a period of time, their infatuation becomes an obsession, and there's no way to predict how that infatuation obsession is going to play out. They become so fixated on you that they could be prone to doing extraordinarily dangerous, stalkerish things, up to and including killing you for love. But the book series never really goes that in-depth into it, only warning that the infatuation is dangerous if done for a prolonged period of time. Amortentia, in terms of physical description in the books, it only appears once. It appears in Half-Blood Prince, in the introductory potion lesson under Horace Slughorn. He has a variety of potions brewing to show to students what they would be capable of brewing should they finish the Newt course of potions. He has Polyjuice Potion, he has Verata Serum, he has Liquid Luck, and he has Amortentia. Amortentia itself, we don't really get a description of its color, so to speak. Miniverse is saying that it's pink, because that's just the color that love is, that we understand it in Western civilization. The only thing that we know, physical description-wise, is that it has a mother-of-pearl sheen to it, and that the smoke or mist or steam that comes off of the potion spirals as it moves upwards. And it's these indicators that led Hermione to deduce that it was Amortentia in that first lesson. The other thing that we get, the other description that we get, is that Amortentia is extraordinarily personal. Amortentia, supposedly, according to the books, smells like things that you like, even if you don't even realize that you like them. In the book series, Hermione says that it smells like fresh cut grass, parchment, and then she never gets to finish what her third thing was. She Who Must Not Be Named says that the third thing that Hermione was going to list was the smell of Ron Weasley's hair, which, sure, let's just go with that. That sounds suitably romantic, doesn't it? Harry smells treacle tart, the smell of a broomstick, like a cedary smell, I'm going to assume, and, as he describes, a floral scent that he remembers smelling at the Burrow, which we're led to believe eventually is the smell or scent of Ginny Weasley. Those are the only two people that ever describe what they smell when they smell Amortentia, so let's just say that it's extraordinarily personal in terms of that. It's going to smell of whatever will entice you towards the subject. In the book series, we do not ever get any kind of indication how Amortentia is keyed to an individual. It's not like Polyjuice, where it's very clearly stated you need a hair of the individual that you're going to copy. We don't know how Amortentia is keyed to people, because presumably you use it as a love potion on another person. But we don't know how that's keyed to you, to them, or from them to you. It's never really explicitly stated in the book, nor even hinted at. So we don't know how that works. We do know that in Half-Blood Prince, Romilda Vane sends Harry a box of chocolates with a love potion in them. We're not sure what that love potion is. It's probably not Amortentia. Amortentia is controlled. It creates a very strong infatuation, whereas what we see of the results on Ron Weasley after he eats the chocolates that Romilda Vane gave to Harry, he just seems to just think of her. So that might just be a lesser love potion keyed specifically from one individual to another. We're not really sure. Although that does throw into question how it's keyed to a particular individual, because that's not specific to Harry. Anyone who ate those chocolates would be infatuated with Romilda Vane. We don't know how that works. I am not going to go into any kind of theory about how that's keyed to a particular person. Why don't you watch Midsommar, and maybe you'll have an indication of how maybe that works out. In any case, it is also not the love potion that's sold at Weasley Wizarding Wheezes. I would assume that that's just a lesser version of love potion, even though that's where they're getting this bottle and this color from. This bottle resembles the little tiny, let's just say, nip bottles that the Weasleys are selling in the movie version of Half-Blood Prince. There's no indication in the books or the movie that that is Amortentia, but that's clearly where Miniverse is getting this idea for the bottle, the vessel that they've given us. Just as a side note, it is explicitly stated that Merope, or Merope Gaunt, Voldemort's mother, dosed Tom Riddle Sr. with a love potion over a long period of time in order to get a child with him. And that as soon as she kind of convinced herself that it had turned into true love, she stopped dosing him and he immediately dropped her. And that's why Tom Riddle was sent to the orphanage in Merope, or Merope, I think died in childbirth. I can't actually remember if the books explicitly state that. I think maybe they state that in the movie, but now I can't remember the context in the book. But that is kind of a warning sign. And in fact, that is one of those weird things that Dumbledore brings up, that Tom Riddle is unable to feel love because of the way that he was conceived, which is absolutely bonkers. I mean, within the bounds of the Wizarding world and the world of the book series, I guess that kind of makes sense, but it seems like a very strange leap of logic for Dumbledore to be making. But in any case, Also, tangentially, Molly Weasley says that she used a love potion on Arthur Weasley when they were in school. So, I don't take from that what you will. But that's essentially all we get on Amortentia. That's the extent of its appearances in the book series and lore. So let's check this and see if it's done. Okay, so 5 minutes or however long that lore section took, we now have a solid resin potion. So let's put the stopper on death. And once again, let's do this string and cord. All right, this is the same cord that they used for the Liquid Luck, the Felix Felicius. It is somewhat metallicized, I guess you would say. It doesn't seem to... One side seems to have an aglet where it was like excessively glued. The other one does not. So let's see exactly how we're going to do this. Oh, bollocks. All right, so here we have Amortentia. Not quite a full bottle, but it gets the job done. Tassel is there. I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't include a gum label for this. It seems strange that they gave you the little placard that had the tassel on it, but there's nothing here. There's no little label or anything, so whatever. But there you have it, Amortentia. Looking at this, I can see a couple of the red jobbies, the little hearts, but they really seem to have congregated all the way down at the bottom of the bottle. It's okay. This was quick and easy to make. Like many of the other sets, it's just a dump and a pour. I would say that this was simple and it worked out all right. I don't know about the amount of resin that they give you. I feel like it's always kind of a crapshoot with these. Some of them have been overfull, some of them have been underfull. This one does seem to be a little underfull, but you know what? That doesn't really bother me a lot. I mean, it's certainly got a dose in it, and it's cute. Like I said, this is the bottle that the love potion that Fred and George sold in Weasley Wizarding Wheezes looked like. So, Miniverse is kind of playing at both ends here. This is Amortentia, which doesn't ever show up in a bottle, but they did take something that people would recognize as being a love potion bottle, and yeah, it washes out in the end. As I say for most of these potions, especially since now we're getting towards the end of this line, it's okay. I mean, it is essentially what all of the potions from this series have been. It's something that people recognize by name, and Miniverse is kind of trying to give you something that connects that name with something physical that you remember. So I think that it was actually smart of them to use the WWW bottle, love potion bottle. I don't know what more to say about it. It's cute. It was easy to make. The tassel wasn't as difficult as some of the other ones, like Armadillo Bile. No, not Armadillo Bile. Absolutely ridiculous. Infusion of Wormwood. It's not like Infusion of Wormwood with that weird wrap that you needed to do with the twine. This is the good version of what the Skelligro set was, to me. It's a recognizable bottle, vessel, and it doesn't really matter what you put in it. I like the fact that in this one I can actually see what's inside of it. I can see the contents of it. I think that's a win. I enjoy the bottle. I enjoy the physicality of it. I think it's a very attractive color. I maybe would have used less of the scintillating powder if I were to make this again. Just because I think that it made the entire thing look creamy. It really diluted the pink color of the potion itself. Mainly because I think that if you look at the thumbnail for Amortentia, it almost looks like the glitter, the sparkling, scintillating powder, is supposed to be effervescent. It's supposed to look like bubbles. I think maybe the instructions should have been a little bit more clear about that. Also, I would have separated all those little hearts out before I put them in and mix them. I wouldn't have trusted the mixing process to have separated them. I would have just taken individual hearts. If I were to do this again, that's probably what I would do. I would probably decant all of the resin into the bottle itself, and then put a little bit of the scintillating powder and a few hearts in, and then use a toothpick and swirl, almost as if it was that twirling swirl vapor that comes off the potion in the books. I'm happy with it. It's another potion down for this set, so we're moving in the right direction, right? Well, thank you very much for joining me today in making this very pink candy-coated Lisa Frank nightmare in a weirdly Arabian bottle. If you enjoyed this content, please think about liking this video and subscribing to the channel so you'll know when the next video drops. I've been Phantom. This has been The Shelves Have Eyes. Have a good night, y'all.